Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you live from Lagos. Reminder of our main stories. Federal High Court in Lagos hands former Nemasa DG Raymond Omashaye 5-year jail term for fraud. 51-year-old dock worker Lekon Shonde arraigned before Lagos Magistrate Court for allegedly killing his wife. President Buhari assures oil companies operating in the Niger Delta of adequate protection from vandals and other criminals. And wreckage of crashed Egypt air flight found in the Mediterranean. President Buhari condoles with his Egyptian counterpart Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. Well, do remember that all our top stories are on our website, channelstv.com, and on youtube.com/channelsweb. And do visit m.channelstv.com to view us live on your mobile device. You can also download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows phones from their respective stores. And we encourage you to use the Eyewitness feature in the Channels TV app. If you have pictures or videos to share with us, tap the app on your device, swipe to reveal the Eyewitness menu and follow the instructions.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Let's take a look at some of the pictures that were sent into our Eyewitness portal. And we can begin with this one from Ekiti State. It shows these boys identified as Olaju Igbe Olabisi and Esan Olarewaju displaying electrical handmade fans. Our Eyewitness reporter calls on primary and secondary school authorities to encourage such acts. And our next photo was sent in from Benin City, the Edo State capital. It shows electricity cables dangling above this roof. And the next one is from Ondo State. It shows a commercial motorcycle rider and his passenger carrying a huge package. Our Eyewitness reporter says this is dangerous and should be stopped. Here's another one showing a flooded road, and it was sent in from Oshunkaya Street here in Lagos State. Our Eyewitness reporter calls on the local council authorities to fix it. Finally, we have one sent in from Sabon Kaduna area in Kaduna State. It shows refuse dumped along the roadside. Our Eyewitness reporter calls on residents in the area to show more concern for the environment.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
We appreciate all your pictures. Do send us some more. The Minister of Finance, Mrs. Kemi Adeosun, has promised that the federal government will pay up the debt owed oil marketers in the country soon. The minister, who spoke at a meeting with depot owners and marketers in Abuja, also gave the assurance of a better working relationship between the government and the oil marketers. This, she explained, is to ensure steady supply of petroleum products across the country.
The liabilities to the independent marketers is one of many liabilities that we inherited, and we have to find a workable solution for everybody. It would be false of me to promise you that we can pay you instantly. What I do hope that we can do today is come away with an agreement as to over what period you can expect payment, and we will then stick to that and ensure that those payments go forth. I want to assure you that we understand your challenges with the foreign exchange availability, and we will do what we can to support you where we can by liaising with the central bank to ensure that where possible you are able to liquidate your outstanding position.
Nigerian workers protesting the recent increase in the price of petrol have been asked to end the action in the overall interest of the nation. The national leader of the All Progressives Congress, Senator Bola Tinubu, made the appeal in Abuja at a meeting with officials of the Nigeria Labour Congress. He urged the Labour leaders to return to the negotiating table with the government to resolve the issue.
It's It's been 3 days now that the leadership of the Nigerian Labour Congress pulled workers into the streets to protest the recent increase in the price of fuel. The national leader of the All Progressives Congress, after a meeting with Labour leaders, is appealing to the workers to suspend the strike action.
Today, we came in to appeal to you and go back to history. We work really hard since early 90s to bring Nigeria on progressive path. For me, ideologically, progressive governance is what we are all about.
The call for the suspension of the strike action is also supported by the governor of Osun State and the senator representing Kaduna North in the National Assembly.
We are here to appeal to Nigerian Labour under the able leadership of the courageous, dynamic and purposeful person in the personality of Baba to suspend the strike and go into dialogue with government.
The prayer of our leader, as he has said, is to request under your leadership, Mr. President, to please suspend for the good of the people, for the good of the nation, this strike.
Without making any commitment, the president of the Nigerian Labour Congress criticized the approach of the government to the situation, saying the government is insincere in its dialogue with two groups over the pump price increase of petrol.
This action is not about personal issues, it's about engaging policies, which over time NLC have actually led the vanguard. And I think we have collaborated with a lot of civil society organizations, even in the fight to bring about democracy. And I think these are some of the traditions that we cherish so much to actually continue to fight for policy engagement and also to ensure that there is development to address the issue of poverty and bring about social justice. We have never at any time refused discussion or negotiation.
The federal government had on the 11th of May increased the price of petrol from 86 naira 50 kobo to between 135 naira to 145 naira, and negotiations to make labor leaders see reason has hit the rocks.
In the meantime, the NLC strike has continued to elicit divergent responses from Nigerians. In this next report, we bring you the situation in some parts of the country on day 3 of the industrial action.
For the third day running, members of the Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, continued their demonstration against the recent hike in petrol price in various parts of the country. In Osun State, southwest Nigeria, the NLC members, alongside the Joint Action Front, students and academic staff of the Obafemi Awolowo University Ile-Ife, took to the streets of Ife town, urging the residents to reject the 145 naira fuel pump price. The chairman of ASU OAU chapter, Dr. Caleb Aborishade, who led the protest, tells Channels Television that the federal government must rescind its decision.
This strike, it is total, and we are going, it is indefinite. If they don't listen to us, we will not surrender. We are not going back to work until they listen to us, because we voted for change.
Staying in the southwest, the compliance level in Ogun State remains the same in the state capital Abeokuta, where the residents continue to defy the stay-at-home order by the labor unions. Some members of the human rights group blamed the federal government for orchestrating the division in the leadership of the labor.
It's unfortunate that this is happening. Government should find a way of even resolving crisis between the labor unions and not to polarize it more by buying one to their side and the other one neglecting them. It is unfortunate.
In Cross River State, South Nigeria, the protest train took off from Calabar South local government area with more participation of the residents, including market women and other groups, with some banks, government parastatals and schools on the lock. The state NLC chairman, John O'Shea, says the struggle continues.
We are on. In Cross River State, it is total. You have seen it. The offices are closed, even the banks, because this money we serve them with paper, with letter, and also attach the communique from NEC, and to let them know that this matter is not a matter of union, not a matter of minimum wage. It is a matter that concerns Nigerian nation. It is a matter that if we don't stand up to fight, tomorrow we will regret.
Further up north in Kano State, the story changes as hundreds of youth and civil servants demonstrate support for the federal government's decision to increase petrol price.
The palliatives that will come as a result of this removal of fuel subsidy, which goes into the pockets of few individuals in Nigeria, is going to go a long way in giving jobs to the teeming youth of Kano State and Nigeria in general. So, the head of service, we are in support of this removal of subsidy.
Receiving the letter of support from the group, the state's head of service, Awal Neya, told the youth that President Muhammadu Buhari is fully aware of their situation and is working to alleviate the sufferings of all Nigerians. While the residents of Nigeria await the resolution of the disagreement between Labour and the federal government on the new fuel price regime, it appears the issue will continue to elicit different responses.
The Victim Support Fund has commenced its assessment of public buildings destroyed by Boko Haram in some states in the northeast. While on a visit to Yobe State, the Executive Director of the Trust Fund, Mr. Sunday Ochoche, explains that the tour is to ensure that all returnees have a comfortable place to stay after spending several months away from home.
This is the aftermath of Boko Haram terror attacks on many villages in Yobe State, northeast Nigeria. Dilapidated structures ravaged by high-powerful explosions. Schools, hospitals, and even local government offices in the area were all destroyed. For this reason, the Victim Support Fund committee members are visiting Gujba and Gulani local government areas in the state to get first-hand information about the state of infrastructure.
We are here, want to do a quick, rapid assessment of the damages. There have been so many that have been done. The state government has made a very comprehensive assessment of the damages. Other agencies, I believe, have. But from the beginning of our engagement with Yobe State, Gulani and Gujba local governments were the main local governments that were selected for us as areas of focus. We've not been able to come here because of the state of insecurity that we had here. We are here in line with our primary responsibility of supporting the process of normalcy to enable people return. Because if people return to these places and there are no infrastructure or institutions of state that are functional, if the governance process is nil, then we'll have total anarchy.
The Executive Director of the Victim Support Fund, Professor Ochoche, says appropriate measures that will enhance stabilization for people returning to their ancestral home will be provided.
We'll need some measure of stabilization. We need some measure of structural, stabilization of the situation for people to return. So we look forward to going back, sitting down to review what we have seen and within our limited resources to determine how we can begin support to Yobe State government to reconstruct some of the public institutions.
At the end of the tour, the committee commends security forces for restoring peace back to the affected villages and has called on internally displaced persons to start thinking of returning home.
When the news at 10 returns, People's Democratic Party set for national convention in Port Harcourt. Party leaders dismissed reports of parallel convention. To join us again.